what's going on? Usamah bin Laden, is he qualified to be a mufti? And when I say Usamah bin Laden, I have to be honest. Usamah bin Laden, no doubt, is a big fitna for the Ummah of Al-Islam. A big major fitna. But still we say, we do the mu'amala of the sunnah with Usamah bin Laden. We say that he's from the people of Ahwan, the people of Al-Bid'ah. He is Khariji. He's from the Khawarij. And he is not a hero in the religion of Al-Islam. And we have Al-Bara'atul Juz'iyya from him. But we don't throw him outside of Islam and we don't oppress him. We don't say just because the kuffar is saying he did it, he did it. Even though to show you the safaha of their dawah, the ignorance of the dawah to jihad and takfir. From the ignorance of it is, even if you didn't do it, because of your rhetoric, they can connect you to it. Umar Abdul Rahman, the same problem. Even if they didn't prove you did it, that's your dawah. I was in England recently, and look how Allah exposed the Ahlul Ahwa. I was in England, and a Sheikh Faisal, who inshallah is ma'zur. He's ma'zur because he has to have some problems. He has to say what he says. Because the shuyukh don't agree with them, they're kuffar, something is wrong with you. You're going overboard, and that type of ghulu that the Sheikh Abu Hafs, Jazahullahu khairan, talked about, that type of ghulu, the person has to be ma'zur. Anyway, he continued with the rhetoric as recent as a month ago, and I was in England. The kuffar went to him, they said, we're going to charge you. We're going to make a new charge and say that you're guilty of inciting murder. And you can get 10 years in her Majesty's prison. 10 years. This is the old law that they enacted. Look, BBC and all of those people went to that brother and they said, after showing him being recorded saying, kill the Jews, kill the Jews. This is after 9/11. Kill the Jews, those dogs. They asked him, have you been saying that and do you believe that? He said, wallahi, they took my words out of context. They're lying on me. I didn't say that. I don't believe that. Ya akhi, the whole world is now giving you their ear. Call to your haqq. Call to what you're on right now. You're going to be responsible for it in front of Allah. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Now he called to the haqq. Instead of calling to the haqq, he went to the side of his brothers, the Ahlul Ahwa, the Rafida, the Shiite, and he made Sufya. Sufya. I didn't say that. And his toes were crossed and his fingers were crossed. I didn't say that right now, at this moment. It just goes to show, Ikhwan, goes to show the people are not serious about what their minhaj is. They're not serious about what they're really about. This is our akhirah hanging in the balance. Anyone come to you, what's your minhaj, akhi? Salafi, akhi. Qur'an and Sunnah and understanding of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm not going to say I'm Muslim. I'm not going to say I'm Sunni. I'm not going to say, now do I think I have to get a big drum to beat it down the street like that? When I'm sitting at the table with a brother who I just met, Muslims who don't know the religion, Muslims who need dawah. Now am I going to just start spitting it out there at the table? You gotta be Salafi. You must be Salafi. I don't agree with that. They need dawah in a way that is with hikmah, with a mu'izah that is hasana. But if you came and you asked me, newspaper, you whatever, I'm not going to say this or that. Well, I'm not really a Muslim, but you're going to tell the people what you are about and what you are upon. So that's what we wanted to present here today, Ikhwan. We are free from the claims of those kuffar. We don't say that Usamah bin Laden did that, but he is definitely a person that the ulama of al-Islam a long time ago warned about him. And they warned about his behavior. And the ulama As the scholars used to say in Islam, they are the ones who, when the fitna comes, before it comes, they know it. They recognize it. Before it even get here. Before it arrives, the ulama, they can call it. But when the fitna goes and it leaves, that's when everyone knows it. Because it came and it affected us and it left. Now everyone knows the fitna. But the ulama of Islam, they know it before it comes. And that's why the Prophet told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the time of the fitna, he said, أَقْبِلُوا عَلَى خَاصَتِكُمْ وَعْرِضُوا عَنْ عَامَتِكُمْ. Turn to the special ones from amongst you, the ulama, and turn away from the regular people. Turn away from that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the basira in our deen. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين.
Brothers and sisters, inshallah, we want you to write your questions out. If you have any questions, the sisters, send your questions up with one of the children, and the brothers can just pass them forward, inshallah. Now, the first question, Assalamu alaikum. Most of the fitna comes from American media. How can we explain our religion if we don't have media, especially in Michigan, where we are the highest population of Muslim state? I don't know if that's true or not. How come we don't have an Islamic media that explains Islam and people are attracted by media, i.e. American people? Just before you answer that, inshallah, regarding media, inshallah, we propose, inshallah, and soon we'll have a Islamic or a Muslim broadcast, Islamic broadcast on one of the local radio stations here in Detroit. So that will be one of the avenues, inshallah, just to answer the sister's question. And she can talk to maybe Zaina in the back if it's a sister, or a brother can talk to I would say Abdul Wali or one of the brothers there, Abdul Salam.
Concerning the issue, Ikhwan, of the media, no doubt we agree with that the media, they're probably the biggest culprit and the lion's share of the responsibility of creating the atmosphere and the frenzy that people have and the anti-Islamic campaign that's going on. No doubt, no one can deny that the media plays a major role, and that the Muslims should do everything within their abilities and their wherewithal to manipulate that medium in order to put the message of Islam out. We recognize the efforts of many people, those people who use the internet in order to get dawah to Islam, those people who write books and translate books. That's the media. They play a great role. As it relates to a Muslim contingent, a group of people who get into the profession of the media in order to combat what the media are doing, well, I don't see anything wrong with that. But that's not necessarily my responsibility to come up with the game plan. We believe that is something that should be done by people who have knowledge of the religion. So we're not respected or we're not represented by people who are from CARE, who do not necessarily articulate correctly the positions of Islam. If we leave the vacuum for CARE, for ISNA, for these other organizations, who their understanding of Islam is warped many times, then we are the ones who are to be blamed. So I agree with that Muslims should manipulate the media, but not to the extent of compromising their religion. The media is a filthy institution. He told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِنَّ الْبَيَانَ لَمِنَ السِّحْرِ. Verily, al-bayan, the ability to express and to talk, there's some magic in that. There's some magic in it. And the media, they're like that. Let's look at this weekend, is the weekend in which our parents and relatives are celebrating the rise of Isa ibn Maryam, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. He rose up on Easter Day after 3 days. There's no Muslim in his right mind except that he says, هذا كذب. Whatever you people are doing, Easter eggs, bunny rabbits, going to church, buying new suits, all of that is kalam farid. We have no doubt about that. وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. They did not kill him, but it was made to appear like that. We have no doubt Isa wasn't even killed, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and yet they're celebrating all of this nonsense. Similarly, when we look at the media, whatever the news program is, we look at it and we say, look at the kadhib. The Israeli war machine will shoot the boy behind the barrel with his father, and that is a freedom fighter. And then when the Palestinian does something, he's a terrorist. The Muslims will be praying at the tomb of the patriarch, and the guy will open up with his machine gun and shoot them down while they're praying, and he's a freedom fighter. And then when the Palestinian does something, he's a terrorist. The Muslim looks at that and he sees how the double standards are established. The media, we look at that and we become upset and we burn inside. We say, look at these people. Last week or 2 weeks ago, a program appeared in America about a little baby. His name is Baby Bob or something like that. A little baby who can talk. It was the most watched program in all of America that night. That's where the people's minds are. So these people in the media know that they're dealing with a bunch of idiots. You can make the American public believe anything. Anything. Allah Ta'ala told us about one of the actions that we could apply to this ayat. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala
what are the conditions for the true jihad that you spoke of? And the
conditions of the true jihad that we talked about today, that is a su'al that is ilmi, it's a knowledge-based question, scholastic-based question, and the answer should be scholarly as well. And it's broad in the answer. So just to put it in a nutshell, because it's one of those questions that we have to make preparation to present. What did our ulama say? The conditions of al-jihad. And sometimes the condition of a people may not necessarily, you don't necessarily have all of those conditions. But anyway, one of the first conditions obviously is you have to have knowledge. You have to have knowledge of the jihad. Another condition is there has to be an iman. As it relates to knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept any ibadah that is done based upon jahl. فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّهُ. Know that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah. Do not do any ibadah without knowledge. As for the iman, you have to have an iman for the jihad. There's no confused state of jihad in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Qur'an, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَا لَكُمْ إِذَا قِيلَ لَكُمْ انفِرُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ ثَاقَلْتُم مِّنَ الْأَرْضِ أَرَضِيتُم بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا مِنَ الْآخِرَةِ فَمَا مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا فِي الْآخِرَةِ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ إِلَّا تَنفِرُوا يُعَذِّبْكُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا وَيَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ وَلَا تَضُرُّوهُ شَيْئًا. From this ayat, the ulama use this to prove you have to have an iman. Oh, you believe. What is wrong with you when the call to go forth is made that you hold on to the dunya, to the earth? Have you preferred the hayat al-dunya over the akhirah? And the hayat al-dunya in comparison to the akhirah is up just a little bit. If you don't go out when the call is made by the imam, Allah will subject you to a grievous punishment, and He will change you with another group of people, and you will not hurt Allah one bit. So, you need the iman in order to go out in the jihad. And there are other conditions of the jihad, and we say to the brothers now, when people call for the jihad today in this world, don't ever go to any jihad until you make the istifta and you ask the ulama of al-Islam, is that really jihad? Don't just go on your own.
How could you explain the da'wah of Sayyid Qutb briefly and how it relates to the 911 fitna?
That's a good question, Ikhwan, and it is connected. Sayyid Qutb, rahimahullah ta'ala, is one of the foremost personalities and thinkers or mufassirs of the Ikhwan al-Muslimin. And the reality of the fact is, the Ikhwan al-Muslimin, they have a number of afrah, a number of baby chicks. From the Ikhwan al-Muslimin came Jamaat al-Jihad. From the Ikhwan al-Muslimin came Jamaat al-Takfir wal-Hijrah. From the Ikhwan al-Muslimin came Hizb Tahrir. All of these Jama'at split off from Al-Ikhwan al-Muslimin. Sayyid Qutb, rahimahullah ta'ala, used to make takfir of the Islamic government, and he used to call them the government of al-Jahiliyyah. And he planted that seed in their Jama'ah of takfir and khuruj. And that seed has sprouted and it has remained. So when we say the Ikhwan al-Muslimin have been responsible for some of the major fitan, if not the greatest fitan of the contemporary Islamic ummah today, wallahi, we wouldn't have been lying or mistaken. So that's his connection, and his hasib is with Allah Ta'ala, and we ask Allah Ta'ala an ya'fu anna wa anhu, and we ask Allah Ta'ala an yaghfir lana wa lahu. Wallahu a'lam.
What can your advice be to the Muslims who are facing and fighting oppressive regimes in Kashmir, Palestine, or other places in the world?
That question also goes back to the major scholars of al-Islam. In Kashmir, the situation is different from Palestine. Palestine, that situation is different from Chechnya. And Chechnya, that situation is different from other provinces and places in China. So each case is going to be relative. But we know that there is one general heading or qita, a top that you put on the bottle or on the can that would cover all of this. The answer will cover all of it. And that is what the Prophet told us, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, إِذَا تَبَايَعْتُمْ بِالْعِينَ وَرَضِيتُمْ وَأَخَذْتُمْ أَذْنَابَ الْبَقَرِ وَرَضِيتُمْ بِالزَّرْعِ وَتَرَكْتُمْ الْجِهَادَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ سَلَّطَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ ظُلًّا لَنْ يَنْزَعُهُ حَتَّى تَرْجِعُوا إِلَى دِينِكُمْ. That's the answer. For us, for them, for everyone. If you people become busy in your trade with a riba, and you become those people who take the tails of the cow, and you become pleased with your agriculture, and you leave off the jihad fi sabilillah, Allah will lower you, and He won't take that off of you until you return to your deen. So the answer comes in returning back to the religion of al-Islam. There are no people right now, ikhwan, on the face of the earth, from the Muslims. There are no group of people on the face of the earth from any country or any code who their condition is worse than the companions were, radiyallahu anhum. They were in Mecca, and you saw the condition of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam making the salat, and they put the defecation on his shoulders, and not a single man stood up to even say, Ittaqillah, astaghfirullah. Rasulullah could have easily said, Abu Bakr, get him. Whoever gets him, you'll get Jannah if they kill you. He could have easily said that. But Rasulullah didn't say that, nor did they move, because they were fuqaha ulama. Not because they were jubana, they were fuqaha ulama. They remain. If we move at this time without the ability, they're going to annihilate him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and they're going to get us too. And then the daughter came and defended the religion. You do this to a man who says, La ilaha illallah. She defended the deen, the sunnah. So because she had the ability, she used her way. Rasulullah trained her. She used her way. Subhanallah. And then after that, they kept the dawah going. They did the brotherhood. At Tawheed, first and foremost. Then they made the ibadah of hijrah. And then this, and then that. And then this, and then that. And they were wise, making their contracts with the kuffar. Kuffar broke the contract. Getting stronger, stronger, stronger. When he refrained from doing things, it caused people to come into the religion. More and more and more. He gets power now. He goes back to Mecca. The same place where they put the dedication on his shoulder. And he came with an army that they couldn't deal with. And he went into the Kaaba with a stick and he said, قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زُهُوقًا. And he started pushing the idols down. Say, the haqq has come and the batil has disappeared. The batil is ever fleeing. And he knocked down the idols one by one. Hey, wipe those pictures of Ibrahim making divination. Wipe it off. I got the power, I got the might. This is our city now. Bilal, make the adhan. Naam, Ikhwan, we got to think about this, brother. Years of thinking, years of suffering, years of commitment. Not going to happen just like that. And he knew in Mecca when they came to him, Ya Rasulullah, أَفَلَا تَدُعُ اللَّهَ لَنَا أَفَلَا تَسْتَنْصُرُ لَنَا. Make dua, help us out. Aren't you going to make dua? He sat up and he told him about the man who came before us, was putting the holy sword in half. And that did not change him from his deen. That did not change him from his deen. And he swore by Allah, لَيَتَمَنَّ اللَّهُ هَذَا الْأَمْرِ. Allah, I swear, is going to complete His deen in Mecca. So we say to the Muslims, wherever they are, we have a blueprint. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. You have in him a perfect example. No one is suffering more than they suffered, so we do what they did. We're going to be successful like they're going to be. So we have to return back to our religion. As for the details of what those people should do in those countries, that's for the ulama of al-Islam to solve. Sheikh Abu Abdurrahman Nasiruddin al-Albani, rahimahullah ta'ala, rahmatan wasi'ah, when he was asked, what should the people of Palestine do? He said they should be patient and they should make hijrah. Ikhwan al-Muslimin began to write about the Sheikh. Ya Majnoon, Ya Munharif, Takharrafa, he became old age now. The Sheikh made his fatwa based upon dalil. So what do you think the right way is? Someone goes into the restaurant or the ballroom, he blows them up, he kills 21, 22, 23, and then they come and say to your leader, you can't go anywhere. And if you go, you're exiled. And then they kill innocent people. That doesn't mean, Ikhwan, it doesn't mean that we minimize what those brothers and those sisters are going through. We don't minimize that, and to minimize it would be oppression. مثل المؤمنين في تراحمهم وتعاطفهم وتلاطفهم كمثل الجسد واحد إذا اشتكى منه عضو اشتكى منه سائر الجسد بالحمى والسهر. The example of the Muslims in their love for each other, and their mercy for each other, and their ease with each other is like the example of the body. If one of the body parts hurts, the whole body suffers from sleeplessness and from fever. We don't know what the fitna is to be in your home today, and the people come and bulldoze your home and it's not there anymore. You have papers reaching back 200 years ago. This is your property. This is your Zaytun garden. Now they come and they say those property, that paper that you have doesn't mean anything. This belongs to us and we're expanding. And they kill your mother. You say that that's good. And the least that we can do is ask Allah Ta'ala to curse the Jews, to curse Ariel Sharon with his ayn, bi'aynihi. We ask Allah to curse him and he's living, and he may become a Muslim, but we ask Allah bi'ainihi to curse Ariel Sharon and his war machine, and that he deals with them with the dealing that they deserve. And we go back to our areas and we make the Qunut and the Fajr and the Dhuhr and the Asr and the Maghrib and the Isha prayer, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help those Muslims over there.
If 9/11 had happened at night and they had been given the option of accepting Islam, would it be okay?
And Imam Ahmed Ikhwan, when people used to come to him with questions like that, Barakallahu fikum wa ahsanallahu ilaykum, he used to say, Sabbit al-arsh thumma anqish. Establish the arsh first and then we'll debate about it. Before I get into this discussion with you, you have to first establish that this characteristic is here and it means the right thing. Then we can discuss it. And the Prophet told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لَوْ فَإِنَّ اللَّوْ تَفْتَحْ عَمَلُ الشَّيْطَانِ. Don't say if, because that opens up the door of a shaitan and the tasawwur of this, us imagining it and contemplating. If it happened at nighttime, was it okay then? Nah. It was not okay by any stretch of the imagination. I ride in the airplane and I'm on the airplane with my wife and someone gets up with a box cutter. Come on now. With a box cutter, all of them each plane box cutters. How do you think you're going to feel when you're on an airplane with your mother going to visit your grandmother and someone's talking about, we're going to take the plane down? Can you imagine the terror? Why do I deserve that and I'm innocent? So if it happened at the daytime or in the nighttime, this is by no stretch of the imagination. Is it permissible? Daytime, nighttime, these people have allowed us into their country by a contract. We're here, and this is the law that we're under. As long as you're here and you're not making hijrah, you have a ittifaq with these people, and you're like a mu'ahid. You're on a contract with them, whether you come out of the country or you're here. They have a law. That's not what Allah revealed. But Allah is not the author of confusion. We cannot break the law like that and take the lives of innocent people during the daytime or the nighttime, the summertime or the wintertime. And the ahkam of al-Islam are mundabit. They are consistent. They apply all the time the same way except in extenuating circumstances. Now,
question from the sisters. Please tell us why it is more important than ever to wear hijab and niqab. And she puts hijab and niqab after the events that happened on 9/11. And please explain how this is like a jihad for us.
Now, I'm wearing the niqab, wearing the Prophet hijab in al-Islam. It is a jihad for the Muslim woman, especially in light of the society in which we live in which the woman has been reduced to being a sex object, and she's been encouraged to take off of her hijab and to become naked. As it relates to why it's most important right now, imperative for them to wear the hijab right now, I say, brothers and sisters, that what's important is not so much that she wears the hijab first and foremost, but that she remains in her home, as the Prophet told them. So as Allah told them, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرَّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. Remain in your home and do not make the display of the times of al-jahiliyyah. إِذَا خَرَجَتِ الْمَرْأَةُ مِنْ بَيْتِهَا استشرفها الشيطان. If she leaves from her house, shaitan will beautify her. He will start to create problems and so forth and so on. So if she comes out, now shouldn't be any different from before. Before 9/11, after 9/11, it is all the same. The Muslim woman should wear her hijab and she should stick and hold on to her Islamic identity. And we found, ikhwan, that in 9/11, there was some good that came out of it. The Prophet, he told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna allaha yansuru.
He came to the da'wah was made clear to him. What should his involvement with them be now?
Concerning the dealing with the people of Ikna and the other people of Al-Ahwa and Bid'ah, whether or not you make hajr from them or you boycott them and you minimize your dealing with them, it's going to depend on who's the person, his level of knowledge, and who's the group that you're dealing with. As it relates to Ikna, their way is established. And none of us are going to go in there and shake their way up, wallahu alam. So based upon that, take care of yourself and learn your deen and grow in your religion and leave the dawah of Ikna to the people who have the ability to affect change in them. And Allah knows best who they are. So we don't go to the sources, to the buildings, to the places where the people are on their position. And more than likely you are not going to change that position. You cannot affect them nor impact them. Wallahu ala kulli shayin qadir. We know that. We know that. But the source of those places where you know you're not going to have the ability to do anything more than likely, and you don't have the knowledge, the wherewithal, the power or the might, then it's better to become preoccupied with your own self, learn the religion, and grow and stay away from those types of people, as the Messenger of Allah said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la turidu al-mumarrid bil-musahih. Do not let the sick camel drink from the same source or the same water as the well camel, the camel that has good health, because the jarathim or the germs of the sick camel will affect the well camel, and that's what happens if you go to the sources and to the places like that. Wallahu a'lam. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.